Well, good afternoon for this opportunity to meet everyone. And I'm sure some of you that we met a couple of weeks ago. But if you are thinking about going outside to have fun beach, later, we will control the pace just to make it faster, and if continuously. Okay. First time I visited such a nice, beautiful city. Talk about today this photonics application using Cholesteric liquid crystal. I have a few parts. First of all, just in case that some of the people does that work? Certainly that works. Okay, so we will go over this. One is Cholesteric liquid crystals and their application in liquid crystals. And it is to see if instead of using direct liquid crystal for this with different color, we were using electric crystal color. We also were a little bit about this photo-tuned color. So because of lately, I think there are a lot of interest using this for security application. Means that you can image your information on a single display, and then for security purposes, and you can read it out for using circular polarizer without any polarizer, visualize it. And then later on, we will look at this through a color in polymer stabilized blue phase. I think 3D structures has been introduced by Yvonne this morning. We will go through a little bit about what can we do, maybe use that for this display. The others is in this electrical suite. We also have some work using the laser dye in the material, and then pumping another light to initiate the dye, and then hopefully it can generate some kind of gains and emit the different color of light. So I think we will not be able to finish up, but we can continue tomorrow. Okay. And tomorrow morning, just to view some pre-program forecast. What we will do is we will learn a little bit about the differentiating these switchboard gratings in kind of structures, and then about basic. Okay, because with this favorite material. That means how to control the structures, and some of those information you may learn later on the posters, even including this here that will talk about that. I guess with that we can continue. So if you see the sun is out, then you just use your finger, say go faster. Cholesteric, this is the basic materials have been discovered for 100 years, but there are some argument who were the first one. Some people maybe discover this published, but the botanist discovered this and discussed with physicists in Germany, and so they get their names known for discovery of these two melting points of these crystal materials. And the type of material they were discovered using this kind of cholesterol nanolite. This is chemical structures. It has a kind of a tail, and this type of materials exist artificially in the plant. Okay, so if you want to say this is other materials for photonic application, and this is the one that you are looking for. If you have this material at high concentration and the helical pitch is twisting tightly enough, that's the helical pitch, means that in the layer of this stack of these slabs of different kind of liquid crystal molecules, in the layer and with their orientation, molecular orientation, following that this orientation, first layer, and also their chirotic, they force them to rotate this orientation from layer to a different layer. And with that, you can continue to increase your layer rotate of original orientation to 360 degrees. And with that, we normally call this is called helical pitch. Twisting 100 degrees from original this state, and then we call them only a half a pitch. So there are two types of materials. One is naturally existing. The other one is you don't have that available. You cannot extract cholesterol type of liquid crystal. And then so you can use a aromatic type of molecule like this, like a rod-shaped tail, and then this pneumatic phase room temperature. And then you use dopant. Where dopant coming from? There's the chemically representative is using a kind of star to represent that optically active molecule. But this optically active molecule you can twist either right or left-handed, right? So a quiz like this: what sugar you put it in? Does anybody know to make it sweeten? And then is that handy? Right? At the end, what's supposed to have increase the weight, right? Go down, and then lots of this, and your body, of your body is in this left-handed sugar, and the sweeteners, your sugars is also very in your right-handed. I guess sweeter that you have, why not? Okay, the sense that water crystal and the twist, right? And in the form. So those were cholesteric materials. So how to actually looks like and then so you can display. So, but I think in this either spontaneous has started out of play. Next slide. So you have a heat synthesis in that how tight the cells, and then this is a very thin layer with top and bottom by itself. In this case, that you can see is the pitch. So that also proportional. So what the station is all related to this heat exhaustion power, either by electric field or by this. So we will talk about that later on. And then once you determine that how tight of this cracker you just made from the mixtures of this pneumatic and chirodopant, and this chirodopant particularly that has a similar structure to the host material with this branch tail with this optically active carbon. And then it kind of twisting the right hand. But if you move this carbon, one carbon away from that this position over here, it become twisted. So you see that chemically structure determine this is either right-handed. But if you are interested in the right-handed, let's just interested in to do with this type of add more of this and that can. If you add more material into this original pneumatic, and then you can kind of moving the sun either in the UV or V. So in the case of like this cholesterol, this material, it roughly have about pitch about half a micron. But this kind of a helical pitch, once you have this orientation with helix perpendicular to the substrate, and it also shows up angular dependent. If you see an angle oblique from the normal, and you will see helical pitch, in fact, kind of shifted a little bit. I shifted to the shorter wavelength. Okay, so changing the color, tuning colors is not difficult because you can either move your head, you can see different color, or you change the temperature, then this material will also shift this red reflection bands. Because of in the case of this material that you made from this chiral materials added to this pneumatic, in general, this break reflection kind of extend the longer wavelengths as a function of temperature increase. So in that case, that you see kind of red shift. In this case, there are few papers using this type of application, putting dyes of this material, and then once they pump another light into this, the dye molecules of the maximum, and then once the molecule excited to the excited state, and they return to state, it needs the lights dyes. So you see the lacings in band gap that is corresponding to this material. You can use temperature to change the color. And also, so with that, you can also put in change the temperature to tune the wavelengths of the light. On the other hand, the cholesteric materials that is A phase behind it, and in that case, that if you lower that, it shows the boost kind of with respect increase of temperature. Type of material like this you can use. But if you have a tongue too close to these two-dimensional phases, medic A phases, and you can see the pitch become infinity. So shift inversely proportional to the temperature decrease. So in that case, that you can also tune this helical cholesteric material by temperature, different kind of mixture. Okay, so we have the materials, we put them under the microscope, put it in between two pieces of substrates. These two pieces of substrate could be a glass substrate or this plastic. But in this case, if you don't have any alignment, these defects, these oily streaks, these gradient textures. And then if you have a pitch much longer, you see this kind of fingerprint like structures, and then you can also measure this the periodicity is the fingerprint text, and then you can determine that the helical pitch of your cholesteric material. But in some cases, it changed to this focal conic. Means they just disrupted this this helical structure, and then it forms this domain, and with that you can see it's very similar to symmetric A type. This phase structure. But if you have a very nice alignment, you see that you have only a few defects in the cells, and you can have these nice textures that are shown under the microscope, and with that you can have a very nice break reflections peak. And this peak maximum is kind of a function of this reflect index and this pitch products. In this case, this type of samples, if you either using the conductive substrates like a conductive glass coated substrates, in that case you apply an electric field, you can kind of change the texture from one state to the other, either unwinding or just disrupting this, creating this polydomain. In that case, if you have a polydomain structure, you can see that this reflection peak is disrupted, and then mostly transmitted light. Okay, so this is kind of basic, between these cholesteric materials under this electric field, and then in general you can also change this structure property. For example, if you are interested in reflect all the visible light broadband, so the others either change the data n. Data n is roughly around 0.6 material. This material, if you have high data n, about 0.6, then you can cover the full visible spectrum roughly around from 400 to 7. And in that case, that you can have black and white. If you have this the bottom substrate with a layer of black paint. And in that case, that you can have this black and white reflections. So you can tune this bandwidth, half bandwidth by changing this property. If you this is more or less like so we just skip. But in the case of just two states, it's on and off. And you can have the effect causing the and then you can return it. Kind of play in the weak transmitted. So you can have a memory. Showing you that and you can equation, but it's small, which means that this is to unwind it, turn off. This weak scan planar state. Okay, so the application of those is because people in the future may using ranging from this it's electronic and then to anything foldable or readable type of device, and then so. For electricity, you want to have some power consumption. The battery longer. They are using only two type of battery. A type of batteries. You can read about 4 of books. So you can see roughly around your books. If you paperback, you can read 10 books of that. So that's kind of use this cholesteric two stable states, right? This we transmit this. You can blacken your choice. This selected by materials that you to make this high contact, as I say, if you tilt your it's blue, but now it's become a blue-green. Would you solve that problem? So the first question is, how would you solve it? Or why angle V high contrast? So school is supposed to have a question, So just a question is, you solve this viewing angle problem. Now we just mentioned earlier, right? It's hidden in the vertical direction to tilt your head. So how would you solve? Does anybody have another cholesteric? Okay. This is left-handed, right? It's only heated, right? With the if you have a right hand, okay, and the light 50% of the reflected, you see that 50%. The other 50% went through, right? So with the opposites become left-handed. So what he just said is, I forget your name. Okay. Free say that using another, right? So the other layer is the left-handed. So recycle transmitted light. So that's what we're gonna do in the later stage when we have stacked layers. Okay. So right now, instead of this, you tilting your head is angular dependence of it's color reflection. So we want to solve that problem Anybody have any idea about how to solve it? See, the cholesteric picture in the picture is always perfect, right? So picture is perfect means that you're trying to copy and paste, so every helix is kind of standing perfectly, oriented vertically, right? So what you have to do is you are using you can use surface, okay? You can spin out a layer of polymer, make it roughly, so the cholesteric helix doesn't orient completely in the same kind of collection and angle. That's one way. The other way is the same for that question. What's the other you can do to impede green angle? Anyone? Okay. In nanoparticle colloidal, so this engine, destroy orientations, make it imperfect. So as long as you make the helix imperfect, and then you got this beta wheel. That's one way of putting a small amount of, okay? You put one polymer permanently, that 1 voltage in the state, they'll stay in the same because carbon, right? So this van der Waals interactions, once you apply the filters, what they're gonna do? They're gonna coalesce, right? They're gonna become a conglomerate, a big chunk, and then together. So you only have, you're gonna have this contrast. That's one thing. But anyway, that's a quick solution for this problem. So any flexibility, certainly you change the rigid substrate glass to this plastic, even fabric, even like a black fabric, and that's a perfect, right? Color reflection. That's one way to solve that, to increase the stability. So as I say, that also can add it for stability. Once you bend a bit more, problem. Because the future generation, then big TV is flexible display, and that flexible display can be as like this origami, or this foldable, or this kind of retractable, right? Or this kind of bend becomes a conformal. So what the flexible display is, it becomes a kind of a subject of intensive research. That's because they can reduce the weight. They are robust. They are rock. They can do this continuation, kind of roll-to-roll process. And next one is manufacturing cost. It requires a lot of substrates. Work on substrate, for example, that is this water and this other air radiation, and also stability of that, and also patterning of electrodes. So those kind of things. But it gives you some kind of design freedom. So, in general, the type of flexible display, there are 3 types. We can see conformable type of display. For example, a big sign, right? If you go to an exhibition outside of this convention hall, you will have a big bulletin board, and then everybody can see this display without any viewing angle problem, and that's kind of conformal, and you can roll away after the conference, So you only bend one, it's a multiple bend. You can continue readable type of display. And you can also have a shape and designs to draw people's attention. So those kind of way. Well, certainly you want to compare existing technology with others, right? Because there are some other devices, they may also suitable for flexible substrate. For example, I tell you that organic LEDs, they have been demonstrated. They can work on steel, stainless steel, and also like this stainless steel, such as plastic. They also demonstrate. All this type of this address the LC. It's a cholesteric, it's a color reflective type of display. And it's electro-optic display. Means they have this particle, it's particles with 2 colors or multiple colors. And they can pixelize those. They rotate each of these balls by a electric field. And they can have black and white. And if they have a color field on top of it, then you can have a color reflective type of EPE. This color needs to go to Amazon.com, right? The first page you saw is a Kindle. Kindle is made of this EPE, this electrooptic display. It's encapsulated this ball. Okay, once you apply the electric field, one side is positive charge, the other side is negative charge. So you apply the DC voltage, you can rotate this, like black and white, and that's why you see that very nice contrast. Unfortunately, if you display a color, if you color,
is powerful while this generation 2. They are working on that effectivity roughly. That's very cool. But they are challenged to overcome in the future. The other one is called quick response powder display. It's called quick PD, is kind of produced by Bridgestone, also used in used as a fearless British company, right? The carbon black to save tire. So one tire is roughly around the cup of your sneak. If you have a this Michael Jordan shoes, that's cost $5 US. But that tire is the same of the pair of shoes, and you can buy a four reduced by carbon fearless. And they also paint it. They apply the field particles to the rise. If you have a dark state, if they are spotted, then you have white. So they have a list of black and white too. If they want to make color, you can see that they also have a problem. Is they have used color filter. Reflectivity is also 10%. It's an issue. For organic color, it has no problem. But if you take it outdoor without the horizons, you cannot read OLED display. So this color shouldn't be a problem. I think the power consumption. What we want to see the categories of this. Later on, we will see cholesteric display. But the power can see that even if you use phone, it still consumes quite a lot of power. But when they are not turned half off, or even turns on only, so you can save the power using the electronic methods to save of display. So in that case, the cost we will we focus on this cholesteric crystal displays for the next topic. So this topic is talking about polymer, actually this cholesteric materials. So that we can make the for display. Well, I think it's there's for this because the manufacturing process is quite easy, and you can use continuous application method. There's no problem high brightness, stacking different kind of handiness of layers. They are because stable, easy to manufacture. They are rigid, flexible. We choose a substrate. The only things that companies see this Chien voltage if you are polymer mixing with your low molecular crystal. They also sometimes deteriorate in this contrast of the phase separate polymer is kind of mixed up with the helix. So in general, I think this morning you want to show the issue, so we can kind of skip this. You can see that encapsulation of these materials, and then make sure that those phase separate just at the boundary or you separate. Use that as a strong material. The reflectivity is proportional to these two materials phase separation. If your host is called, and your guest is the kind of pre-polymer material, pre-polymerized this monomer of this polymer. So what you need to do is you need to control their phase separation. So if you control them, and you can have maximize this refit. So how to do that is you have to control the phase separation. For example, if this is kind of light-induced phase separation, and then you need to control the light intensity, and then also this photoinitiated condensation. That's certainly cell. So how to calculate those pictures here? You have only monomer polymerizable group, and then you have this functionality. But if you make one with the three polymerizable functionality of this material is 3, right? So you just kind of do a little bit of arithmetics, calculate them, so you can determine what's functionality. That's the kind of functionality fixed this photoinitiator from the CBOT additive. So in this, if you see that the droplet size, forming that drop size, we'll see it's a function. It's the functionality. If reach to some critical concentration of this material and also this energy is arranged, then you can have this phase separate droplets control from roughly around 15 micron to down to a few microns, and that's the case that you control well of those functionality, and you fix this light intensity, and then you can drop this size as a function of the functionality, or you can determine that how much of the dosage of UV, and then you can determine that droplet size. So this 3D diagram showing you that the droplet size appropriate from 5 micron to 10 micron, and that gives you the kind of lower switching voltage. In that case, the range that you can determine, because that can vary from one material, but it fixes the functionality, and that's the way to do it. So here is reflectivities of that. If you, for example, if you can see that to thinner wall, you get higher activity, you get polymer, and you get reflectivity. And you can see that that's the switch by different kind of fidelity. So it can be a switch from a refractive state by increasing pulse, and then to this dark state means light transmitted state. In this case, that all the light gets transmitted through, and then get absorbed by another black absorbing layer in the back. And then you want to some certain volume mixtures, and also this, and you can turn it to this refractive state. In this curve, if you start from this dark state, you can also continuously increase that voltage pulse until you reach to some critical voltage and return it to some refractive state. You can see that slope here. The slope here is just to give you the chances to slice them into different. Otherwise, you only one black and green. You don't have this into the grayscale. So that's for the grayscale purpose. And then if you put on a plastic substrate, so you can bend, and then that's kind of a device. On the other hand, if you use different kind of flex substrate like fabric, and in fabric in general, they woven in the cross sections of this fiber. So you have this uneven surface. You need to use a kind of organization of materials like the polymer to do this treatment. And then after coating, and then you can continue using kind of electro materials. So in this case, it's not only indium tin oxide, you use a conductive polymer. And then using conductive polymer, you can have other options. You can use inkjet printers to print them. So in that case, you can print layer by layer, conductive polymer layer, and another protection layer, and then print face material. Then you print a conductive polymer layer, top electrodes, and then for top coating. And that's the pictures of this polyolefin. And then if you stack them up different colors, you can have a switch the color for green and blue here. It's more like a process, The fabric can be kind of pre-coated with a layer to planarize the surface, and then you can continue to follow steps such as this, put layers and then put in the coat. You see this is surface undid, and that's after treated. If you have this it's treated, and you can have a very serious. So reflectivity, you want the maximum selected. So that's kind of a function. On the other hand, you can go from 25% to a different type. In that case, that years, and in that, at the bottom 27 figure, and you can have this voltage. So with different type of using sequential. One has to shoot the 1/3 of pixel, and you can have this passive method has more. And then answer
questions. Questions, please.
Sir, I'm interested to know some more about the temperature. From there, that there is some Chien spectra. They are shifted when the temperature is changed. So can we utilize this phenomenon for temperature measurement?
I think Cholesteric material has been used if you like to have an aquarium at home, and you use a kind of tape as a temperature indicator, and that material is made of cholesterol material, and it's a mixture of cholesterol material, and then so you can shift the temperature, shift from blue to green if temperature increase, and then but you green temperature decrease. For example. There are also medical image indication using that.
So if there's only one sugar we can eat, but not the other one, then what's with lemon and orange? Because the orange is also the same molecule, opposite chirality, but we can consume both of them. Orange we can consume, and lemon as well.
That's a good question too. They all comes from both of them come from both of them possess a chemical called limonene. Okay. And limonene has only the left-handed. On the right-handed, you smell by lemon. Left-handed, you smell the orange. And because what distinguishes that distinguish that quality of this smell the right-handed. Once you open up the fruit, and that vapors, chemical vapors, immediately evolve into. So in that case, that once you suck in some of those, and then those distinguish that which one is the. So your nose is equipped with particular enzymes to one-handedness. Then
so limonene is just for smell, not for food.
Well, actually, time is too. Less than 9 is also quite. The nose is very sensitive that you know you have your body. Okay.
You told that the lever is 10 to more
Sweeter than
right-handed only.
it's splendors or some other things like the material. So you just need a little. You know, I think that the whole package of that it contains other stuff, very maybe starch. And your body also digests the starch, becomes sugar. So but that's much slower release because starch is a polymer. A polymer, your body has to, your stomach has to digest it. You know, chop them down into dimer, tetramers, monomer. Okay, become sugar. So it takes long time, and so it kind of control the release process. So you will not immediately need that much of sugar, but at the end, once you finish your coffee, you feel like your body feel like you took so much sugar, same amount of sugar, you just take it. Okay.
Are there more questions? Okay, if not, then it's time for experiments with coffee and sugar.
The other one is this electrically switch the color. With that, we will proceed to see if we can catch some time to study this blue phase. If not, we will leave that to Theodora. Okay, so for the color, right? Remember what you learned earlier. It's the helical twisting power, beta. The beta helical twisting power is very important. Well, that is the helical pitch, how tight you're gonna turn that screw. The more materials that or the increase the chiral concentration, and then you can screw tighter. So, but if they are opposite, right? The higher this helical twisting power of material, the higher the concentration of your chiral open, you get the shorter pitch. So they are inversely proportional to each other. So they are you using the chirality change left-handed to right-handed fundamental. Otherwise, you will say what does that sign? Signs means positive, right-handed to left. The other they have an actual chirality change the twist. So like this, if you're a butterfly, right? You're a butterfly, right? Butterfly is wind, beautiful wings, right? If they like this, you see they like this. If they are twisting like that, right-handed, and you change them to this left-handed, okay? And then chirality, and you rotating this here to the opposite. Or you just use a part of that, the helical twisting power getting smaller and smaller, right? So you can tune the helical length and you can change the color. That's the photonic length depth what people are talking about in cholesteric. The other is just conformation of material that has this functional group that's susceptible to the light. They change from the one conformation like a trans to cis. So this is trans, okay? This is more like a trans like this. It's more like a trans, then they change to like the cis. Do you see that? How much of this conformation of this molecule? So this is a material. You use the material property to this conformation. So this density of the materials, you see, the density of this material change from more linear to more bulkier. What does that mean? The density change, your refractive change. So you can use that that's what a lot of people use to do this grating structure, so they can change particularly this index of refraction from 1 to 1 low, 1 high to 1 low. And that's the way to do it using the laser light to write it. So if you have this great light, then you can generate this spatially this logical structure. So that's the way to see chirality change sign. This actual change the twist. Okay. See, that's so simple. Well, actually, and this molecule has these 2 azobenzene. I think this one this earlier was reported in our patent, but paper published in 2003 and 2004 by this Italian group. They show that you can use circular dichroism spectra change the sign as a function of this irradiation. And then, they also said this helical twisting can be kind of back and forth. But eventually towards the end, this deteriorated, decomposed, and they lose the functional power. So you can see that they can change the material with pneumatic 359. So they make this material left-handed, they change to right-handed, and then so some of those change to right-handed, and you can see that the refraction gets shifted, right? So Ken displays like Ivan this morning say that Ken display also using this type of materials to do this security imaging process. They're making pages for FBI or CIA or any in English you call it what? Fi or something. Okay, I don't know in India or in other country, but you can use that for companies like this Google's, right? You go to work, you have to do like this, you know, and then they can rewrite this, you know. So that's kind of application is for this type, because you see this type of material has some lifetime issue. Okay, the other things is this image it will last for a while once the temperature changes. The relaxation process gradually takes place, and then the image gradually disappears. So that's kind of disadvantage. So if you like for full color, and then you will see my blue become a bluish green or blue, you know, disappear. So you don't want that, right? So that's all. So this is a reversible process. So we have a irreversible process, and that is interesting. I think I leave one of this butterfly head open. Once you shake it, rotates to the other. And then, so this is kind of a process, but it's irreversible because of once it rotated to the other side, the chemical reactions also occur too. Add a little bit of this material into your cholesteric liqueurs, and you change that. You kind of design kind of break refraction webs in this 640 array color. You know, because of you can change to blue, then you can switch back to gray. So in that case, that you can have a voltage. So you see that the break refraction wave can be switched from almost blue 460 to 640. The function of high. In that case, that you see the break refraction spectrum shift. Apply this the dosage of the light. So how to make that is. You prevent this diffusion pixel to the other. As you have blue pixels, you know, diffuse to green, gray pixels diffuse to green, and so you have only one pixel, right? So you need kind of partition, more like the wall. The combined wall thickness about use a second set of mass because of the chiral material in the emetic. It increases viscosity. So it takes more volume for green roughly around. It's been kind of improved to roughly around from 25 to about 32 to 37. Depends on material. So you can see that you can tune the color either from the red or this blue shift. Either way, depends on how you form materials and how you use your material. And you can make one single substrate with 4 color displays like this. It's not a problem. Like active matrix now, but the only thing demerits for this is you lose the as I said, you go for one advantage than the other, then you lose the other. So you go possible in this active matrix. Some this past May at in this information display annual meeting in San Antonio, Texas. They show one of the panels. Okay, the nine possible is so RGB has different kind of response. Blue has a higher voltage, but anyway, you can for the earlier stack colors. You have this BGR, as I just mentioned, right? Blue has a more chiral, higher viscosity. The switchings require higher voltage, and red has less for this encapsulation. Not as good as they were right now. To enlarge this, red is chromaticity. Now, the way this liquid crystal is, you have to narrow that this half absorption bandwidth filter. Used for LCD, they has this band half bandwidth quite wide, meter, and that's why this narrow. So compared, they are much lower compared to with backlight field. Now around 95% over 100. That's the person using lasers but this LED white light for backlight. So that material, that color changing be encapsulated in polymer, and it can be shifted from blue to yellow to red. So can be generated. They have this as a function of this. This reflectivity of applied voltage source. So it has less. So it has need to work on kind of enlarge of this the hysteresis here to have a multiplexing. It's a different kind of grayscale. So that's kind of a problem for this type of material. We can go back and see that. You see, they always have a narrow turn on and turn off this in terms of different. So this one kind of a disadvantage for this more grayscales.
So in general, you can have a different color get tuned, and depends on how much of the end dosage, and you have a different type of color generation. If you go to YouTube, okay, I let everybody go on YouTube quite often. And if you type in this here, Fuji list of black color stack for color readers, and then right now they are set for about $909 for A4 size. Okay, they plan to cut it, to compete with future. So because of they have reduced that in the market. 2008, they plan to have a reduction this year, so they will cut down the price. Use for different kind of stacking. If you want to, if you want this blue and to this transmission, the ray get reflected. If you want to have this blue reflected, you turn the other two pixels to medium state. If you want the blue or green, then you turn the blue to the transmittive. So this reflective 2 pixels. And this the stack that recently get introduced by Play, and then now happens issue the 7 using the touch of 3 colors. And then you separate the layers with the polymer layers on, so that has the brightness. Okay, so the next thing is we learn the photo tune color. We're going to shift the gear to this electrical switch color. The switch color is so what's new, right? The new, how much of the range, tuning range that you can shop. They are somewhere as we right. If you tilt your head, and you see, and that's kind of a phenomenon. It's already long for years, 100 years. So in that case, that's the fields, and you can tilt it. So that's not new. There are lots of papers published the voltage in cholesteric liquid crystal in 1970. There's also electric color change. I think more significant one is health with just same time as Fred Kahn. Also, there is electric field induced instability. I think. Well, there are quite a few of those can use the implant electric heating. He still didn't so that's the problem. So they in this night, if you apply it, they are reducing the reflection. The other may be tilting kind of at some height. You can see the shifting. So there's a Chien is here. One is this tilting. Dutch group, this Philips display. So they're just using some of this research group. They work on polymer pneumatic putting it. They also work on this to do some can shift the little meters. Alumni also tune this patient by the to increase the field very just we're using the only fitting much wider and 40 nanometers. So one side is about cholesteric shift is a function of off and roughly around you can label off. This kind of a color tune, in general, kind of a flat, no tail. That's the disadvantage of this, but there's a way to control that to a grayscale. So to control that to a grayscale, if you put in the polymer in between the two substrates, then that's a problem. Then you lost the grayscale. If you put the polymer on one substrate, then it has metastable state. So in that case, that you can switch them back and forth, and it doesn't cross like this. If you cut it, you don't have this grayscale. And if you can switch them from this one color to the so that's the color. Okay, so I want to know that the switch, how does it display? To know and how much voltage, right? And turn off time, and the voltage is around 35 volts. Dependence is around milliseconds. 30 milliseconds you want. So this type of device less than 30 milliseconds, and then switching 12 volts. So it's pretty kind of the other side is kind of so we want to go to beach. So you see that this is the response. You can see that temperature shift, but it's 25 steps. It's more like a jump at the regular temp. So from heating, cooling, from heating, it's roughly the but it's also kind of a tiny shift of some temperature, 10 nanometer. Temperature effect is. Yeah, but more about this. What type of polymer you put it a little bit flexible polymer, then for 50% polymer network to run the voltage, and it looks like it's roughly also. But this polymer is changed to too soft. You see that? It's from a very rigid 50% soft, 100% air, 50 rigid, and then 50% 75 soft, and then almost material, and it does section for you. Taking the class, you need to.
So what is 100%, 75% soft? Remember that was went to one surface, one substrate surface. In between the layer hanging around. It's the event. Bottom is supposed to think, or maybe that we are able to direct that. I show you, but you can show it shows that the anchoring is okay. So it does that anchoring. So you can swing towards one side, get unwind immediately. So there's no more this polymer support for this type of device. You can switch that from the different colors by electric field. Okay, we continue the topics because we want to go to a beach, so we will stop here tuning for lasers in this what cholesteric liquid. So everybody interested in lasing in liquid crystals because of this kind of interesting scientific phenomenon. What we did is we using this medium yacht lasers, pulse lasers, and then the dye is DCM. DCM is kind of a common laser dye or rhodamine B. Low concentrations, it's very ratios. Okay, so once you pass that ratio, whatever concentration you add it doesn't matter. So we increase that from 0.5% to 1% increase in the cell thickness because we found out laser heating is one of the issues. So even a picosecond lasers shine on this set. And it also hits the materials, and you lost that the band gap. So we kind of increasing that cell gap to have in the cells. Okay. The samples prepared is more pneumatic open dye, and then about 1%. Here is around this green laser. This green laser's pumps emission. This kind of dye is interesting, right? You put in the dye, you want to know that is that switchable. So you will put the dye, but that dye kind of absorbing something. In general, suppose the dye absorbing in the 590. Okay, it should never maybe misalign the dye well. It makes this bandwidth broaden. But once you switch, it getting narrower and it's reversible. But that's first time once you made a sample, there's the residual memory. It stays the surface, it doesn't recover that, even you hit it up and down. So you see that the second time switch, and then now it goes back to normal. You see that the bandwidth is kind of going back to about 100 nanometer, and then it can switch that breadth to 140 nanometer. You can go back and forth. Okay, so the sample say regardless you put in that and it not reach the so when you put in this before to tune in, and then you can if we increase the cell gap, and then you can and then this is 20 milliwatts, and then if you increase that a little bit, you can see this lasers. If a high intensity one, this at this NO region, and then it shows on the NC regions on the right side when you lower that threshold. It's kind of interesting. It's zero, right? It can be by pumping left and right. So first time that the lasing effect disappeared, right? You can switch that off. Then the other time the laser is showing, and at the end it shows that since after turn the field off himself, and so at the end different sample you can read original lasing. It kind of that we see here, see that some domains where you don't have this the pitches to make the device light bouncing around in the two substrate. It covers a little bit, and then you can recover. That means as the cells, polymer did not grow into substrates. Polymer only localized on. So it's just kind of so I guess for lasing, it makes the refraction. It's difficult to refraction band sharp while it actually tunes up this multi-formation. Okay, so it will take a while to saturate that, so you will get more work, in the future in this area. Questions about this electrical tuned color, photo tuned color?
Question?
Going on, what's causing that to helix?